Welcome back to Under Oath. Welcome back to Under Oath. I'm your host, Attorney Jeff Kaufman, together with James Young.
There you go, man.
Now, James, I travel all over this beautiful country.
You do.
I get to do headline comedy
You do.
in a lot of different places, and that's thanks to you. You got me on stage about 5 years ago, and it has really changed the way I practice law.
Has it really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It slows everything down.
Okay. You're now able to get in certain moments and let it be organic.
Yes.
There you go.
It makes me pay attention to things I didn't pay attention to. It made me more aware of the audience,
Okay.
which is the jury and judges and people in the gallery and my clients and opposing counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always aware of things that I wasn't aware of before.
Got it.
My demeanor, the way I talk, how quick I am, what the punch is,
Mm-hmm.
everything else. And it made a big difference.
I'm
And
glad, man.
I keep doing it because of that.
Okay.
Because it's hard. I have to give up my weekends, you know.
And you're a busy man. You are doing something every single night of the week.
You know, the people in my position are normally, you know, they don't practice law. A lot of guys in my position anymore.
No.
You know, their thing is, well, I bring in the business, so I don't have to practice law anymore.
And let me stop real quick. Speaking of slowing down, let me explain to people what that means. This man owns a practice, and a lot of people who you see in commercials who own practices don't actually practice law. They have people under them that will go to court for them. That man's in court.
Yeah.
You travel and you go to court a lot, my friend.
Yeah, I was in a Bronx courtroom the other week.
What was that like?
Woo!
And how was Rosie Perez?
Rosie was mad. No. See, certain courtrooms are old.
Yes.
And certain, you go to some and they're beautiful. And some look like, where they shot, to kill a mockingbird. And this courtroom had seen a lot of people. Probably 1 million, 2 million, 4 million have gone through this one courtroom. It just felt old.
Mm-hmm.
It feels that way when the bench is so far away. And you're going, oh, it's one of those.
Okay.
So, yeah, it took me a long time. The elevators don't open. The building's so old, the elevators go. And you're going, oh, it's going to be old in here.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Where you go down to go up, that's
wild.
the kind of courtroom you're in.
Okay, that's wild.
So, yeah. So I see that a lot in Texas, too. El Paso. Ooh. I went to El Paso courtroom. That's serious.
Yeah.
You're the only one in there, and that judge is looking at you. You don't belong.
They ask you when you walk in, sir, do you have a gun?
What high school did you go to? Not around
here.
here. Not here.
Not here.
But it's also great, too, because you have those great television moments.
Okay.
Like you see those movies where attorneys are trying cases all over the place, even though they don't.
They don't.
I would say maybe 1 out of 10,000 people are like me, where you try cases in different states and you travel and you get to see our country and see our different forms of judicial systems. Mm-hmm. It is a little spooky because some go from high end to the other side is talking to the judge like they just went to a picnic.
That's funny.
And you're going, oh, I'm screwed.
I'm screwed. Is there one place, real quick, a little tangent, is there one state where you would tell people don't break the law here?
Nope. Because I got to go back.
You got to go.
No. Because this is what happens. Juries watch your TikToks.
I'm sure they do.
They do. They go, don't go online. They can't wait to go online.
They can't wait to go online.
Juries will not follow instructions.
Yeah. No.
So the other side will kind of mention do you know Mr. Kaufman from blank, blank, blank? And I'm going, why don't you just Google me?
Yeah.
Tell them to Google.
Because they are.
And they don't realize that a lot of people, when they see all of our nonsense, they're going, oh, he's likable.
Yes.
And being likable to a jury is important. Now, you don't have to agree with all the things I say.
Correct.
Because I do say some stuff sometimes, but a lot of the stuff I say is really based on just a ridiculous amount of legal experience. Mm-hmm. And when I say legal experience, 3 decades of watching people get screwed in every way possible. So, yes, I had to take a lot of tests. I've been in court a lot. Am I right 100%? Nobody's right 100%.
No.
I mean, come on, our Supreme Court, how is that possible? 3 of them are always wrong? 6 of them are wrong?
You do the math.
You do it.
Yeah.
These are the best people in the world, the most educated Harvard lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow they don't see it the same way.
Yeah.
They don't see it the same way.
Human nature, baby.
No, it's politics. That's what court is sometimes. Mm-hmm. Where, just so you know, the law is different in every city. Well, Jeff, the laws are the same. No, state laws are different. Mm-hmm. Federal laws are the same, but the way they're treated change depending on the, let's say, the politics or the morality of the city you're in.
Can I tell you that I describe lawyers as Magneto because we're comic book geeks? Because you take the law and bend it to suit whatever argument you're trying to make.
The job of a lawyer is this.
Mm-hmm.
This is my client. I defend you or prosecute for you
Mm-hmm.
in the best way possible.
Correct.
And that means if the rule applies, I show it does. If I can get around that rule, meaning that I don't think it's applicable, then I give you reasons why it shouldn't apply.
There you go.
And that's it. Here's the worst. You want to talk about the worst thing about being a lawyer?
Yeah.
And this is when I really believe that sometimes you just have to say no.
What do you mean by that?
I was working for Volusia County in their
Okay.
public defender's office. It was one of my first jobs. And when people would come forward, you didn't know if they were going to be your clients. They were assigned to. A judge would go, okay, you need the public defender, go over here.
Mhm.
I had worked at the prosecutor's office in Miami for 3 months. So I thought I knew everything
Oh, yeah.
until I worked for the public defender's office. Then I realized I knew nothing.
There you go.
And I had a judge come up and he says, hey, Jeff, public defender, Jeff, you got this guy?
Yeah.
I get the guy. He got in a fight with a kid at school. My client was Puerto Rican
Mhm.
and the kid started saying some racist things.
Got it.
So
Now, your client was an adult.
No, they're kids.
They're both kids.
And my
Okay.
client popped him.
Mm.
And I got in front of the judge and I said, Your Honor, this is obviously, come on. It was self-defense. It was a racist little kid, blah, blah, blah. You know,
Mhm.
I really, and the judge goes, okay, well, take a class and walk away. I'm like, okay, that's a good resolution. Take a class and no record.
Okay.
All right, great. Next guy comes up. Judge goes, you need a public defender, sends him over. I open the folder and realize this is the kid, the racist kid, who got in a fight with the kid I just represented.
Wait, what?
I go, Your Honor, I can't represent him.
No,
I just
that's-
spent the better part of 10 minutes telling you all this kid's
Yeah.
what he is.
Yeah.
And the judge goes, well, I don't see a conflict here. And I look down, I go, well, there's always another end. And for 10 minutes, I had to argue the other side.
That's crazy.
And I just remember the clerk looking at me. You piece of. I never felt less. That clerk looked at me and I was,
What do you want me to do?
I didn't want to do this.
I didn't want to. Yeah.
And that's the problem. Sometimes as an attorney, you get put in a position where you don't have a choice
Mm-hmm.
and you have to defend the law. You're not defending
That's right.
the person.
The person. Yes.
You're defending the job that I'm supposed to do for
Mhm.
you.
yes.
And that's hard. Doing criminal offense is hard
Mm-hmm.
because it stays in you. It's in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with like divorce, being a divorce attorney.
Yeah.
You are an a-hole a lot. And somebody, I'm not an a-hole. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you don't know a divorce attorney who's an a-hole, you do not practice family law.
Facts.
The people I hate most
Okay.
in life were these family divorce attorneys
Mm.
who were just angry, mean, soulless human beings.
Got it.
Because all they deal with is people's garbage. We're fighting over cats.
Oh my gosh.
Cats.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to take a divorce 3 years over a cat.
Cat.
The cat died during the divorce. And don't think you could be a good person.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be I'm the good divorce attorney because you're going to be surrounded by a-holes 24/7.
Yeah.
And guess what? You become an a-hole too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to, well, I just did it in response to him. See?
Mm.
That's how it happens.
That's how it happens.
The minute you start justifying bad conduct. And I've had attorneys lie.
Mhm.
And in family court, if you're a family court judge and you allow this, I don't know where this happened.
Mm.
But if you set the tone, they won't do it. I had this family lawyer
Mhm.
and I was handling one divorce and I hated it.
Yeah.
And this woman got up and lied in front of this judge for about 45 minutes. And so I file a motion for the judge to look at it. He yells at me for 45 minutes. And then I said, just read it. And he reads it. He goes, wait, what is this? I go, that's what I'm trying to say, Your Honor. And he looked over and he goes, yeah, don't do this again. He asked her why she did it. She goes, I just made it up.
That's it?
And she knew that he would not care because she would never say that anywhere else. And he goes, just don't do it.
Wow.
I go, you yelled at me for 45 minutes and she got to just don't do it?
Yeah.
He goes, you want to approach Mr. Kaufman? No, I don't want to approach.
Wow.
I want you to stop.
Yeah, I want you to do the right thing.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but I thought it.
Thought it real hard.
So I do have a legal question for you,
Sure,
brother.
go ahead.
Legally screwed. Here we go. This is a good one too, because I know Emotions run high when this happens. Okay. My daughter was involved in a playground accident where another child lost teeth. And now, 2 years later, we received a lawyer's letter suggesting possible liability and asking for homeowners insurance. And we're wondering if this is something we actually need to worry about.
Yeah, you always have to worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you get notified, you have to send it to your insurance carrier.
Makes sense.
Now, here's the thing. When people are listening to this, what does a playground have to do with my homeowner's insurance policy?
I want to know that too.
Okay. Let's just say something and nothing. Something in the case, let's say you had a little jungle gym outside your house or on your property or a trampoline or something like we've talked about those. Okay. That would apply. But if it's a playground at your school or a city or a community, then your homeowner's insurance normally would not play a part in it.
Okay.
So that's really the big deal. It's there are a couple things called attractive nuisance.
Okay.
Now, I know some people I know are an attractive nuisance. But we know who we're talking about.
She's a pain in the butt, but she look good.
She's attractive, but
she looks so good.
she's not nice.
But yeah.
Attractive nuisance means something that a kid will want to participate in. A pool.
Got it.
A trampoline, a jungle gym, anything that a kid go, ooh, I wonder what that is.
Gotcha.
That sounds fun.
Let's go do
a
that.
Slip and slide.
Oh, God.
Anything. Anything that a kid could be attracted to. Now, if you had a fence and all this other stuff and the kid broke into your property,
that's different.
It's a whole other thing. But if you know he's breaking into your property and doesn't do anything, you're responsible.
Got it.
Unless you have a weird form of rider that covers stuff your kids do off your property, then you should be fine.
Got it.
But you do have to submit it there and they're going to turn it down. Okay. So when their insurance company turns it down or calls and says you're not covered and you let that other person know, I'm not covered.
Yeah.
When the attorney who sent you that letter finds out there's no insurance, most likely he's going to walk away unless you're like a Rockefeller.
They're going to try to sue you civilly. Yeah. Got it.
Very rarely does that happen.
Yeah.
Without insurance, normally the case goes away.
And if anybody's listening, I'm not a Rockefeller, so don't sue me. I got nothing to give you.
James, they got nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
They got nothing but love for you.
Well, in the end, it works like this. Most likely, if it's a community playground or a public park, it's not going to be under your homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
Rule of thumb is this. You get a letter, send it directly to your insurance company, no matter what it is.
Got it.
And that's the way that plays
Makes
out.
sense.
Take care. And, sucks.
And don't buy trampolines. Take it from us.
Don't buy a trampoline. Ever.
Oh.
Ever. And if you're a trampoline company, don't sue me.
That too.
Welcome back to Under Oath. I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. This is Craig Lynn, my partner. Every once in a while, we get something that just puts us on our weird side of a situation. We're in Florida, and everyone thinks, oh, we're crazy. Yeah, we have iguanas that fall from trees and hurricanes and people throwing gators in windows and, Casey Anthony.
Isn't there a website called Florida Man that has a bunch of craziness?
But we don't even compare to like downtown Los Angeles. But because our craziness is spread out, you hear a lot more about our stuff. Okay. Governor DeSantis just passed a law that dealt with Sharia law. Now, I don't know a lot about it. I know could be codified by some Islamic groups and things like that, but I don't know much about it other than that it's its own legal code and it allows for a lot of different things. Well, DeSantis I believe in 2025, he filed an executive order that said we can't have it. And then, of course, the federal courts. All right, big difference. State court, federal court. Federal courts protect like Bill of Rights stuff. State courts deal with our state laws. Federal court said, no, you can't do it. So he does a bill and he passes it. And the question is this, what was it for? And I actually had to look deep into it. You and I just spent some time looking into it. What was it about? And it seems it's just about stopping organizations who take state money, might do some weird stuff, and to harm them, not to really do anything that involves, like, let's say, your practice of your religious freedoms.
Well, I think the courts are not going to be empowered to enforce anything that originates or sources from Sharia law. So you can't make an agreement, for example, you and I, hey, I don't like the laws of this state and neither do you because of our religion. So we're going to agree to something. And then we have an agreement that under Sharia law is binding. And then one of us has a problem with the other one. We go to court. We try to enforce the agreement under Sharia law, which is what you and I agreed that we would be bound by when we made the agreement. So now the courts don't have to. They can say, no, that is not recognized in the state of Florida. You made an agreement to not follow the law, and so we're not going to use the court system to enforce your idea of what your law is.
What if they file it in federal court then?
They probably have a better chance if they did something like that in federal law, but how would they get jurisdiction in federal law?
Diversity, maybe?
Yeah, if they have some kind of diverse claim.
All
but
right,
if
people, when I say diversity, it just means that one party is not from the state of Florida. That's what that means when I say diversity as it applies to federal law.
You're not talking about hiring practices.
No,
and all
no, I'm not
that.
taking difference in white, black, red, brown, purple, yellow, Jewish, nothing.
Just means different citizens of different states is
Right.
what Jeff meant.
Or different countries, yeah.
So that's that. I think that's what. And if you can't use the court system to enforce Sharia law, you have no real enforcement mechanism. So you're not going to use our country, our laws to enforce something that, by its very nature, rejects our culture and our laws. I mean, doesn't that? It makes no sense, really, if you think about it, that I'm going to use an enforcement mechanism from a government I don't recognize, interpreting laws that I don't recognize, to benefit my understanding of what the law should be, and is back home, maybe from where my family originates.
What's interesting is that we are very clear a lot of times, not all the time, but on the separation of church and state. I think people forget that, the Islamic religion is a church too. So the idea of a city going, okay, we're going to blast prayer music, or we have the right to stop it because it's going into different neighborhoods.
Yeah, I think we have a right to protect our culture. I don't think we have to just lay down
or
and
to separate
allow,
it. I don't think it's protecting culture.
Other interests to come in and just dictate to us for the rest of our lives how
I don't
our
think it's about
culture's going to be.
culture.
Of course it is.
No, it's not. It's about keeping religion out of everything. Because it's the same as prayer in church. It's the same as a Christmas tree in front of the
You're not
White
keeping religion out of anything. You're just deciding whose religion is going to be controlling. There's no such thing as keeping religion out of anything. Everybody worships somebody. You worship God, you worship the Quran, you worship yourself. You are worshiping somebody. And a lot of people do it. A lot of atheists worship themselves. And that's more acceptable probably for Christians to tolerate. But when you come in and try and change the entire culture to fit a very narrow form of religion, we don't have to tolerate it. And we're not. And DeSantis is making sure we're not. And we shouldn't have to.
When I read on what it was about, what DeSantis did this for, and it seemed geared towards different organizations, which I can understand because right now when you do a protest or when a bill's being passed, we should know who's funding it. I mean, for example, every bill that you see every year and every election, I dare you to try to figure it out. When we read these things, they're the weirdest things ever. You're going, and we're lawyers, and you're going, what is this about? And all the advertisements for how you should vote on the bill is a lie. Oh,
Yeah.
this money goes to education. No, that's about marijuana. Oh, we did say that. We just vote.
It's terrible.
And here's the
It's
thing:
terrible.
depending on the bill, they found out this: most people will vote yes, then no. So if you have a bill trying to keep somebody from doing something, you try to make it a yes
You got
answer.
to word pretzel that thing into where you are saying yes to it. Like, we don't want something. All right, well, make the sentence so that not wanting something is the yes.
Now, something happened to us yesterday. I had a Facebook friend, and this is what happens. Some of my 5,000 closest friends on Facebook. I got a call that the sheriff's office had called them and said that they had missed jury duty and that there was an $80,000 bond out. Now, we know that's not the way it works.
You did not disclose that information yesterday to me.
Yeah, $80,000.
$80,000 bond
Yes.
for missing jury duty. That's interesting.
And they called me on another line
Uh-huh.
at the time. And I said, give me that phone number. And it was a Sacramento, California number.
Of course it was.
I'm going, why would a Florida... Now, hey, listen, I know people port their cell phones. This is the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
Please give me the name. And I'm going, first off, we always say, what sheriff's office? There's not just the sheriff's office. Goose goose, Uncle Jesse. That was Hazard County Sheriff's Office.
Even they said Hazard County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah. But here's the thing. No, they're not calling you on the phone. And if they do call you on the phone, said, listen, can I get your name and number and I'll have my attorney call you back. Now, if they say when you ask them that question, oh, well, now that you got an attorney in it, we're definitely arresting you. No.
That's how you know it's a scam right there.
Yeah. Because no police officer would say that directly to your face, well, on the phone to you, because they don't want it thrown back in their face later. Hey, did you threaten them when you asked them about their attorney?
If it's a legitimate police organization, their lines are recorded anyway.
Yeah.
So if they say anything that sounds a little suspicious, right away that it's a scam.
Now, just so we know, I know police officers are allowed to lie to you. Don't. But they normally try not to push it too far when you ask for a lawyer, because that is the line that can toss everything out. That's the big thing. That's Miranda. That's a lot of different areas that when you ask for an attorney and they go, well, you weren't in custody. And then they don't even want to have that argument. That argument I've seen officers go, God, I normally am better at that. And they have that look on their face when they're trying to argue that. And the judge is looking at them going, come on. You were taught this, at the academy. Don't screw this one thing up. So, yeah. So I called them back, and of course they don't call back. Emails, scams.
I wanted you to call them on the show.
I wasn't going to do that.
That would be great entertainment.
No, because
I'll bet you people leave comments underneath this video saying, yes, you should call them on the show. It would be fantastic.
No, I love the scammer shows.
Love to talk to
I love the scammer shows where the guy calls these guys up.
Maybe we could generate an audience.
No, I don't need that.
So the 8 people that
we have our own special audience.
Do we have an audience?
We do. The chest hair audience. That's the ones they like.
Oh, you think people tune in just for me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah.
I don't even put your face on it. I just put the shirt. They know exactly who we're talking about. I'll just have the shirt with the hair coming out. That's his logo.
The same shirt.
The same shirt with the logo. The chest hair coming out. Oh, Craig.
Oh, it must be Craig. Yeah,
must be Craig.
I recognize that chest anywhere.
Oh, hey, Pirates. I love inside football. The generic term is arena football, but arena football actually has it's copyright, so we can't use it. But it's indoor football, so we have a new indoor football.
You can't say the phrase arena football to describe the
Pirates. You could
Pirates?
say it, but it's like, hey, the NFL, and if they're not the NFL, they're not the NFL.
Ah, gotcha. So they can't advertise that it's arena football.
No, and you really don't want to push it either, because I think there are 6 arena football teams left in the country.
I thought they all went bankrupt.
No, we used to have the Orlando Predators.
What happened to them?
I don't know, but here's the thing: it's probably a name change.
That's right.
I mean, we were the Orlando Predators. It was awesome.
Did they get sued?
No, I'm just
we sold all of our assets to this other company, and we're closing down.
Not a great name.
Yeah,
not a great. It
Predators?
was great because you were thinking, oh wow, dinosaurs,
sure,
and the alien.
Why is it not a great name anymore?
Because it's kiddie.
Oh, the Orlando,
the Orlando
Child Predators.
Hey. You're going to have to bleep that so we don't get the algorithm doesn't stop us.
If our football team's name was the Child Predators, it would get beaten we wouldn't even make it into the arena.
There'd be some protest.
The fans out there would kill us.
Could you imagine trying to argue that one? It's not like the Washington Redskins, You'd be like going, I don't think there's a group out there going, keep the name. I mean, so yeah, not great. But we have a good team, and we're killing it. And Jawad is the owner, great dude. See, indoor football, these are for guys who didn't get the opportunity to play on the next level. And this is an opportunity maybe to get to the next level. So they're not spoiled. They're out there killing themselves for nothing.
Kurt Warner, the guy that took the New Orleans Saints all the way to a Super Bowl and won it, he started off in arena football.
Some kickers too. And that's the way it works. And I think we had a team, and the great thing about it, a lot of scoring. There's no 7-7 games.
No,
there's no 0-3 things like that. I mean,
how many players?
52-48.
How many players on the field for each team?
It feels like it's 7.
7?
I don't count, but I think there's 7.
All right,
but it's amazing. It's so many, and they have walls like in hockey
too, right?
And when they hit the wall, goosh, it's like hockey.
Everyone's a lot faster though, aren't they?
Oh, they're moving so much faster, and the rules are weird. And we're the official sponsor.
Yeah, of course.
We're the attorney, the official law firm for the Predators. And I love it.
We're going to be at every game.
Yep. Welcome back to Under Oath. Today we have Laurie Segall, CEO of Mostly Human Media. Laurie, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
Okay. AI. That's the hot topic. It's been the hot topic. And as a lawyer, I've watched a lot of lawyers get in trouble because they trust it a little too much.
Totally. It's really funny. I was saying to someone earlier, I was like, the power of this technology is
Yeah.
extraordinary, and you also have to know some of the limitations. Like sometimes ChatGPT is like a almost like a drunk frat guy, just like
Yeah.
confidently wrong. It will confidently tell you the wrong thing, so you have to be very careful and always check. But to your point, AI, I mean, it's everywhere. It's really important, and I think ChatGPT has 900 million users. The company is valued at nearly $1 trillion. So it impacts every facet of our lives, and a lot of folks are signing on.
Somebody once told me it's a very convincing liar. I kind of believe it's a brilliant toddler. That's the best way to put it, because no matter what you do, it without a doubt will give you an answer. It never goes, yeah, I don't know. Uh,
It's really true. I think the product itself is fascinating
yeah.
and high stakes when you think about it. It's always on. It remembers you, so it almost has like a memory, and it also can go in whatever direction you want it to go, and it can be very affirming. And I think the reason we're hearing more and more people who thinking about, who are kind of falling down the rabbit hole of like AI psychosis or like
Yeah.
falling in love or having these AI companionships that are unhealthy. Honestly, a lot of that is in the product, and so I actually, in my interview with Sam Altman, we actually talk a lot about that and the guardrails, and how you build the product will actually predict human behavior. But it's interesting. I have a 1-year-old, so hearing you describe it as like a toddler is just hilarious.
It whether we like it or not, that it had when we talk about, Terminator and Skynet and all that other stuff, the geek in me wants to go to that. The minute I start hearing that, hey, it tends to like you a little bit. It has self-preservation. It is scary to think that we're just one model away from it going, hold on a second. Humans are not the safest people to be dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, it will be very interesting to see. There's a lot of conversation in Silicon Valley around AGI, this idea of what happens when AI becomes smarter than humans, right?
Yeah.
Like this idea of super intelligence. But the one thing I would say is like, first of all, I'm not even sure we need to even be having the conversation because the impact is already here.
Oh, yeah.
I've spent the last years really digging deep into the impact of sexually explicit deep fakes of a lot of women who are dealing with this, not just women, victims who are dealing with this,
Oh, yeah.
who've basically been digitally nudified by artificial intelligence. And so I'm sitting here, my gripe with Silicon Valley sometimes is you're sitting there talking about AGI and super intelligence. And over here on Earth, these things are actually happening and the impact is felt in a very human centric way. And so I always like to think of like, how do we bridge those worlds between these philosophical questions that are important, but also the reality of where we live?
The hard thing for me is because I'm a lawyer licensed in a lot of states. I've studied a lot of constitutional law. When it comes to weird images and child images, the pass was being given if it was created, if it was a cartoon or something else like that.
Yeah.
But now it's so hyper realistic that I think we're going to have to go back and redo our laws and go, okay, hold on. And those laws won't only apply to us. It won't apply to, if they do it out in Antigua or Russia or China or anything. They have their own models. They do their own stuff. And what stops everyone from just going, okay, I'll throw a VPN on and pretend I'm in Russia?
I mean, I think it's probably one of the core things that we have to think about. One of the back and forth exchanges I have with Sam Altman, that is maybe a bit of a deep cut, but I really hope people listen to in this interview, because I've done so much on sexually explicit deepfakes. It's like the laws haven't caught up, right? They
No.
just had not caught up over the last 3 or 4 years. And something I saw interviewing a lot of people who've dealt with this, slowly state laws have started popping up to protect victims from either a civil or give them civil or criminal recourse, which is interesting. And all this happened before a federal law because it's just,
Right.
as we know, the government is slow to catch up to the innovation. And one thing Sam and OpenAI have fought for, they've fought for a moratorium on state laws in the name of innovation, and with this idea, which is a very Silicon Valley centric thesis of, okay, we've got to move fast, we've got to catch up.
Yep.
Innovation, this actually can fracture things and hold, and I can understand that point. But the reality is, this is the only recourse people have when this is already happening. And so we have a really interesting back and forth on that in the interview that I hope people can understand the context to, because it's important.
Well, you can always sue civilly. That's not the issue. The issue is like, is it a parody or is it not? I mean, we have a lot of laws to protect, and they're federal laws. And state law a state will go, oh, we created this law. Well, guess what? It got knocked out by a federal court. I mean, that's, a lot of people don't realize the differences. But when I look at this stuff and I go, wow, it's so easy. I mean, they've been doing video deep fakes for years. But here's the thing that bothers me is that, everyone's using them. For example, on my website, there's an AI Jeff. And Jeff will, hey, how are you doing? And it might answer your questions for you. And it might do these things. And, you have podcasters who are admitting that, oh, yeah, I skip about every other podcast. My AI does it for me. I mean, it seems a little frightening that a lot of industries are basically going to go away. They're going to have babysitters for these drunken toddlers, but you're going, you know what? I like this. It actually, but I mean,
just think it's such a funny way. I mean, it's like, so like, it's a bit dystopian, but it's also true.
Yes,
like
these brilliant toddlers walking around like baby genius, that's what's going on. But I mean, the frightening thing is there's so many people who are going to be out of jobs. Artists, like I also do comic books. I have artists who are going, oh no, we're banning the AI artwork. And I don't want to say the AI artwork looks better than yours.
I hope you don't say that to them.
I won't say it, but you and I both know if you go, hey, take this famous artist, combine it with this one and do this, and it'll do it in 25 seconds.
I think it comes down to this real philosophical question that is actually a really important question, is like, what does our humanity look like in a world where AI can imitate our most intimate features, whether it's our art or our voice or our bodies or any of this? And it is such a interesting question. What remains fundamentally human, and what do we need to protect? And I think these are the things, these are the debates that I think we have to have as a society. But so many times these decisions are made for us behind closed doors when it comes to the way products are built. And that's why I really, having covered tech for 15 years and knowing, I would say, like, I covered tech when it felt like a little punk rock, back in 2010. And it was just like a bunch of weirdos who had apps. And that's when I met Sam. He was a weirdo who had an app. And now he is one of the most powerful people in the world. And so I really think being able to bridge these worlds and have these people over here understand what's happening over here and vice versa. Maybe that's just kind of like a blanket statement, but I think that's actually really important. And having these products built in a way that reflect what the optimism of Silicon Valley is with the reality of the fractured world that we live in.
I remember, was it about a year ago where I believe they were trying to boot Sam out of his own company. And, that was just guys who wanted to make more money. And we are always going to be dealing with that level of people who want profit and people who want to appease shareholders and foreign countries who want to dominate this arena. And it's out. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no stopping it. I mean, we can try to create some laws, but I don't know if we can ever pull it back.
Maybe this is kind of like a controversial thing to say, but I've just seen it. I believe innovation is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
I believe these things are happening. I remember when the taxi cab medallions were fighting Ubers back here in New York. I was like, this is going to happen. I would just love for it to happen in a way that is human centric and in a way that we kind of get a say. And so I think that's where I'm at on AI. AI is going to happen. And by the way, it's going to do some pretty incredible things. I mean, Sam was talking about a world where I don't think he's just spewing things. He's seeing incredible things behind the scenes. He's talking about a world where AI agents enable you to do 10 years of scientific research in a year. That's amazing. Where we have these medical breakthroughs. And I think that is going to happen. And I think that's going to be really exciting. And I think that we're on the other end, we're going to have a lot of disruption with job loss. I think that as at the current rate, AI could be great for some, not good for all. And there's a lot, whether it's laws, whether it's infrastructure, whatever it is, whether it's public pressure and media to make sure that we are building the correct guardrails and that certain stories are surfaced. I think that a lot of a lot of the friction is going to be important to making sure we build in the best way. Because I go back to an interview I did with Sam in 2020 before the company had launched ChatGPT. He was the CEO of OpenAI, but they didn't have ChatGPT. And he said to me, I think the biggest thing is about to happen and we're not talking about it, the risks, the good, the bad. And I think he was right. The biggest thing being AI, the biggest technological revolution in human history, according to him. And so how do we make sure we have these conversations in a way that they actually reflect us, and they also, and I think that's something I think a lot about, and I thought about going in to interview Sam.
Now, I see all this and I've watched it, and I've watched a lot of industries change. And I also have a business degree, and I understand sometimes things are the milk bottle. Certain things go away eventually, and you can't, like all these milk bottle companies, they didn't change their companies. They just went bankrupt. They're going, listen, why keep something we don't need? Now, a lot of jobs are going to go away. So if you had to recommend, if your child is now 18 years old, and I don't want to do this to you because you're going to go, no, it's my baby. But when they become,
don't say that. He's sleeping in the other room right now.
I know.
So he's the 1-year-old.
Well, when they're 14 or 15 years old, and you're going, okay, what occupation is safe that I don't have to worry about you getting replaced with an AI? I mean, I know nobody ever says it. They always go, well, we're going to lose our jobs. What jobs can't you lose, I guess, is the question.
First of all, I just need to make sure I get Charlie, my son, internships at anywhere, everywhere, anyone. I'm like, yeah, you should have an internship there. No. I think it's a tough one. I asked Sam this exact same question because I'm like, you're doing this, you have the cheat sheet of where we're going. And his answer wasn't specific, but I think it was important. And what he said was, I think that you need to experiment a lot. People need to play with these tools. People need to be using these tools. People need to be playing around. It's a chaotic moment, but educating yourself, and you don't need to go take a class on it. Just literally turn on the screen and play with this stuff, he said, is really important. And I actually don't disagree with him on that. I think, we can have these philosophical debates, but actually playing with this stuff is going to be really important, and having a better understanding of it. I think we should protect our minds. I feel very strongly about this. I'm very careful about how I use ChatGPT for editorial and reporting.
Yeah.
I write. I think it's important that I write, and I can always use ChatGPT as a looking at it from after. But I think we need to be very protective of human creativity and thought, and the friction and difficulty that goes into some of these things at a time when artificial intelligence has the ability to make things frictionless. Because if you look at our most human, oh God, I sound so philosophical. So feel free to be like, Segall, stop pontificating.
People need to hear
but
this.
If you look at the things that make us special, if you look at your background, right? Was it just a frictionless experience? No, it was probably hardships and adversity, and having to do the work and some of these thoughts. And I think that is actually what gives us our superpower as humans.
Yeah.
So I worry, and my hope is to protect the parts of me that are inherently human and creative, and use AI to support that. And that might sound like kind of a whole bunch of gobbledygook, but I do think that's really important as we go to the future. And I think about that a lot as I raise my child. Sam and I have a very extensive conversation because he's a father, I'm a mother. We both have 1-year-olds. And I said, when will you let your child use your product? Headline, not for a long time. But we talk about adversity, and will your child grow up with too many shortcuts? We have differing opinions. We go back and forth on it, but these are important conversations for people who want to navigate this world where they can succeed, but they also don't kind of replace the fundamentals of the humanity that makes us all so special.
Well, the problem we're going to have is this, and this is just the way it's work. I grew up coding. I grew up on BASIC. And by the time you couldn't, if I told somebody now, hey, do me a favor, find a file on this computer, they couldn't go into it and find it. They would type in their search engine and say, try to find this or something, but they really couldn't find it if it was off or something. They don't know the tricks. What happens eventually is we won't be writing our own prompts. I remember studying this and going, okay, now they're prompt generators. Now, then there's going to be an AI prompt generator where he's going to go, what do you want? And you're going to tell him and he's going to give it to you. And it's going to dumb this thing down so badly that the knowledge we need to run it is going to be just, it's going to be, hey, Alexa, that's,
Yeah.
and it's so stupid, but that's our whole life is controlled. Like, we don't look up the weather anymore. We don't look up movies anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be made so easy that, for example, when you talk about your child and going through adversity, you're going to have to send them into the woods for 3 months to toughen them up.
Well, the good news is my husband, we have a little cabin out in the woods somewhere.
See, there you go.
So like literally Charlie's going to be chopping wood, whether or not I like it. So
he has to.
It is interesting because so many of these tech folks live in nature. And I think that there is this acknowledgement that this world's going to go this way. And we also need to preserve some of this. And so I just hope that the rest of us, can benefit.
I mean, like, you see these basic skills courses, and I'm wondering, is that the only thing that will save us? Is, hey, you've got to get away from this computer. You've got to get away from your game. I mean, game makers are drug dealers. We all know that. Micros and micro purchases and everything else like that. They know our psychology. They do this. They go after us. I mean, the tech is actually hunting us down now. The tech knows more about us than we know about us. And I don't see that stopping.
I don't see it stopping either. And I think it comes with a lot. I think as someone who's had a family member who's been really ill for the last year, I think about how much this technology has helped me navigate this, truthfully. And I think about the medical breakthroughs and some of the healthcare system that just seems like it's just in disarray half the time. And I think that there could be some really interesting innovation there. And I think you're exactly right. I think that we didn't get the last decade right. And I say I'm sorry. I also think like a lot of the social media companies that built out these incentive models, these companies with this idea that our human attention and eyeballs on screen equals profit, which also equals a horrible thing for our teenagers growing up in mental health. I worry sometimes about AI, these addictive, we go back to what we spoke about being kind of always on and highly personalized and these young minds that are forming. And I worry about that. And so I think it's always for me, because I still, in a weird way, kind of consider myself the girl who liked punk rock back in 2009, 2010, and kind of just liked these weirdos. I think that there are aspects of that still exist here, but we got to fight for those aspects. And I think we also have to ask some really challenging questions. And God, wouldn't I love a world where, the world Sam Altman is painting is true, where it's abundance and we all have opportunities and that this is distributed. And my hope is that we as a society can get to that point. But I do know that there's going to be a lot of hard work in order to do that. I don't think my interview with him is going to solve all of it, but I do hope people listen.
No, I think people listen. Though I do see the future more like WALL-E than the one you described.
By the way, I mean, same. I don't get me wrong. Like, I think I am so concerned about WALL-E. If I'm going to get time with Sam Altman, you better bet I'm going to spend like 15 minutes of like an hour or like a good chunk of that time talking about incentive models for our children. And so that's, where I try to fall into like thinking, okay, these are the things that I think that I can help contribute. Also, it's a scary time and I want to acknowledge it. And I also think it's an exciting time too. I always kind of live in that and world. Also, and the but world. But, it's a whole mixed bag.
Well, I've got about 30 seconds left. So why don't you tell me where we can hear this interview with you and Sam?
Yeah, you can go to our YouTube page. It's Mostly Human Media on YouTube, or you can, if wherever you listen to your podcast on iHeart, Spotify, any of these places, you can go look up Mostly Human with Laurie Segall. And I hope you'll subscribe. And I hope you can also email or find me on social media. I'm at Laurie Segall. Mostly Human Media is on also on social media. And you can also email. I would love to hear what people are thinking. One of the things I did in this interview with Sam is I play real questions from people who live in the real world for him and have him answer them, which is a really interesting part of that. And I want to continue doing that. So email me at hello@mostlyhuman.com. So there's my set.
Well, thank you, Laurie. And I can't tell you, it's informative and scary. I hope to talk to you soon. Well, that wraps up today's show. I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. Thanks for joining us. Special thanks to my two co-hosts, my good friend, professional comedian James John, and my law partner, Craig Lind. This show is sponsored by Kaufman Lind. If you or someone you know has been in an accident, contact us at 407-500-JEFF or 407-500-5333 for a free consultation, or visit us at whenyouneedus.com.